Denver 7 On Demand is brought to you by Ferguson and BAC Appliance Center, the best in bath, kitchen, and lighting for your home.
Good morning, I'm Nicole Brady.
And I'm Eric Lufer. These are your top stories from Denver 7. This morning, Governor Jared Polis will lay out his plan for our state over the next 4 years with his State of the State address.
This is Polis's third day in office. He was sworn in on Tuesday. Denver 7's Micah Smith is at the state capitol with some of what we can expect today.
I talked to Lieutenant Governor Diane Primavera about Governor Polis's main priorities for the first part of the legislative session. She says we can expect to hear a lot about education, renewable energy, and health care costs. The Lieutenant Governor says Governor Polis's goal for education is to create all-day kindergarten for everyone. He also wants to lower health care costs and essentially increase access for all Coloradans. Primavera also said Governor Polis wants Colorado on track for 100% renewable energy by 2040. But the Lieutenant Governor says Governor Polis's priorities aren't all about change. He wants to continue Colorado's strong economic growth.
The governor would like to build upon that economy and make sure that it works for everybody. His theme has been Colorado for all, and we just want to make sure that everybody in the state has an opportunity to succeed.
During today's State of the State address, we can expect to hear more about all of those issues and specifically how the governor plans to implement his agenda. Reporting from the Capitol, Micah Smith, Denver 7.
One of the topics we expect the governor to address today is oil and gas. After the defeat of Proposition 112 in November, cities and towns across Colorado are now looking at ways to balance the needs of the industry with public safety. It's a controversial issue with a lot of perspectives, so we are going 360 on it tonight on Denver 7 News. Before we do that, we want to hear from you about our state's oil and gas industry and how it's affecting you. You can send your comments to 360 at thedenverchannel.com. You can also message us on Facebook or Twitter.
Turning now to our other top story this morning. The Denver Broncos will formally introduce new head coach Vic Fangio at Dove Valley this morning. Broncos insider Troy Rank is outside there this morning with the latest on the new head coach.
Old is new again here at Dove Valley. The Broncos believe they found the right head coach in 60-year-old Vic Fangio. He will be introduced later today here at Dove Valley. 12 o'clock press conference. He takes the stage for the first time in his NFL career as a head coach. He's been an assistant for 32 seasons, a defensive coordinator for 19 seasons, been top 10 in scoring, top 5 in total defense. This is a guy who's earned a reputation as a bit of a mastermind, or as Khalil Mack calls him, an evil genius in the way he designs a game plan that he keeps simple, that allows players to play fast.
You're talking about one of the best coaches in football. You know what I mean? The evil genius himself. But Coach Vic Fangio is a hell of a coach, and he understands his players and real personable dude off the field.
Again, I've said this earlier. Forget about where's Waldo, where's Fangio. He has blended into this NFL scene, so why now? Well, again, the Broncos met with him. He moved to the front of the pack because of his attention to detail. John Elway felt like it was a great fit that he could blend a coaching staff and help develop young players, another skill of Fangio as this roster gets younger, and he's willing to work with specific coaches, and one of those will be Gary Kubiak. We will find out, get clarity later today in what Gary Kubiak's role will be. He will be either offensive coordinator, assistant head coach, perhaps in charge of offense, but we'll find that out. But don't be confused. Today is about Vic Fangio, a moment that's been 32 years in the making. He's never been a head coach at any level. He's been with 5 different teams. Most notably, he had great success with the San Francisco 49ers under Harbaugh, and now with the Bears. Last year's Bears team, easily the top-ranked defense in every meaningful category, including takeaways, interceptions, rushing yards allowed per game, and 3 and outs produced. Great defense. He's going to bring that 3-4 defense to Denver. Also run a little more zone coverage, so you'll see that little bit of a nuanced difference. But one thing I like, he's good friends with Joe Madden, and he grew up a baseball fan. That's part of my background. But learn more about Vic Fangio today. But remember this, fans, even if he doesn't win the press conference, it's about winning games, and the Broncos certainly to do more of that, and they hope they do it under Vic Fangio. Reporting for Denver 7, I'm Troy Rank.
And we'll be carrying both the State of the State address and the Broncos press conference live on air and on our social media platforms. The State of the State address is scheduled to begin at 11 this morning. We will listen to part of it live during our 11 a.m. newscast. The Broncos news conference is tentatively set for noon, but we're still waiting for the final details to be set. So don't forget to download the free Denver 7 app, and we'll alert you when our live coverage begins. Just remember to sign up for push alerts.
Today, President Trump heads to the U.S.-Mexico border with the partial government shutdown now in its 20th day. The president will be visiting McAllen, Texas. He stormed out of a meeting with congressional leaders yesterday, calling it a waste of time. The shutdown is impacting 800,000 federal workers who are set to miss out on their first paycheck tomorrow. But we're seeing the impacts of the shutdown all across the board, and latest is in the brewery industry. Of course, that's a big industry here in Colorado. With the Alcohol and Tobacco Tax and Trade Bureau office closed, any newly brewed beer can't be sold out of state. That's having a big impact on breweries in Wisconsin.
Every time that we make a brand of beer, design a label, name it, all of that has to be approved by the government.
It can take months for labels to be approved, so new brews being planned right now for the summer or fall could be put on hold. We've reached out to several breweries here in Colorado to see how they're being impacted, and we'll keep you updated.
We are happy to report 17-year-old Samantha Herrera is safe this morning. She was the subject of that Amber Alert we first brought to you as breaking news yesterday. She and her boyfriend Rodney Brown were found at a home in North Glen yesterday afternoon. Brown is in custody, accused of not allowing Herrera to leave his car during an argument Tuesday afternoon. Herrera's friends and family described their relationship as abusive and violent. This morning, we're waiting to learn if charges will be filed against a driver who hit and killed a flagger in a construction zone. The victim was a 51-year-old man. He worked for a private company. Denver police say the driver hit the man near 55th Place and Lowell. That's just north of Regis University. The driver stayed and cooperated with police.
The groups fighting to keep the public away from Rocky Flats National Wildlife Refuge are hoping unsealed documents will prove the site is dangerous. Rocky Flats opened to the public back in September, despite fears of possible radioactive contamination left behind from a former nuclear weapons plant. Both the Colorado Health Department and the EPA have said the site is safe for workers and visitors. But today, an environmental attorney will file a motion asking a judge to unseal documents that petitioners believe will reveal plutonium contamination and other dangers at the site. Happening today, the Boulder County District Attorney's Office will lay out a plan to expunge thousands of low-level pot convictions. The DA's office has identified 4,000 convictions since 2008 that would no longer be crimes today. The office's goal is to eventually clear older convictions as well. Yesterday, Denver released a plan for people to get their records cleared. We've listed locations where you can go to get help doing that on thedenverchannel.com.
The city of Denver is looking at its plans for growth coming to the city over the next 20 years. The city's Denver Right plans touch on growth issues in regards to housing, transportation, recreation, and parks. Last year, the city took your input and used it to make changes to the plans, so now it's time for another round of reviews.
Blueprint Denver is a land use and transportation plan. It's the vision for how Denver kind of looks, feels, and functions out to 2040. It looks at what our population and our jobs would be in 2040. How are we going to move about the city? How are we going to have the amenities and the homes for everyone that wants to live in Denver in the next 20 years?
The review process starts tonight. You can read the plans and weigh in at a drop-in meeting at Ross University Hills Branch Library on Amherst from 5 to 7 tonight. We have a list of all the other meetings and links to plans on our free Denver 7 app. The city wants your feedback, so do we. How is Colorado's growth affecting your quality of life? Are there any issues you think the city should address? Send us your comments to our CO at thedenverchannel.com, or you can post your thoughts on the Denver 7 Facebook page.
You can run, but you can't hide from Contact 7 investigators or the police, for that matter. A Contact 7 investigation led to the arrest of this man here. David Kushner is accused of taking jewelry from customers and never paying them back, and also selling fake jewelry. You'll remember Denver 7's Jace Larson tracked him down last summer after customers reached out to Contact 7.
Tell us what's going on here. Did you take any of these customers' money? So these customers would like to know what's going on.
Kushner abruptly closed his store in Thornton, a D&D fine jewelry store, and customers couldn't get what they had already paid for. Well, this week, prosecutors have officially charged Kushner with theft. He'll be in court on Friday. The district attorney says there are 11 victims who are part of the case. Let's send it over to Lisa now for a look at your First Alert forecast.
And a really big change in the forecast here in the next 24 hours, a big difference. We're starting this morning off in the 20s and 30s, mostly sunny skies at 12 o'clock. That's the start of the Stock Show Parade downtown, and we should be in the low to mid 50s at that point. Highs this afternoon near 60 degrees in some neighborhoods with plenty of sunshine. The mountains are going to be nice and quiet today as well. Now tonight we'll start to see some mountain snow. Overnight into early tomorrow morning, it looks like a light rain snow mix developing here in town and then turning over to all snow through mid-morning. Now as far as temperatures go, we're likely going to top out close to 40 at about midnight tonight, and then it's going to get colder from there. So we'll see 30s throughout the day tomorrow with that chance for some snow lingering through Friday night. Now, as far as totals go, it looks like across the Denver metro area, we could be at about 2 to 4 inches. Quite a bit lighter as you get up north near Fort Collins, less than an inch in some spots, but about 1 to 2 in the heaviest. And then for the Palmer Divide, that could be around 3 to 6 as you get closer to Castle Rock, and where, again, the elevation's just a bit more. As you get up into the foothills, around 3 to 6 as well. We'll keep a really close eye on the storm, but we have issued a First Alert Action Day for tomorrow due to obviously a pretty big change. The drive could get a little inconvenient, although I think most of that heavier, moderate to heavy snow is going to fall after the brunt of the morning commute. Look at the rest of the weekend, though. Skies gradually clear out, and by Sunday, we're at 47 under a mostly sunny sky, and then back in the 50s, you guys, Monday and Tuesday.
Looks pretty good. Yeah. Hey, we're inching closer to the start of the National Western Stock Show in Denver.
Yeah, it kind of gets underway this morning with one of the favorite traditions, the kickoff parade in downtown Denver. Dozens of Longhorn cattle will lead the way from Union Station down 17th Street.
It's probably the most unique parade in the United States. Led through downtown Denver by the Longhorns and all of the horses, the pageantry, and we got a couple of high school bands this year that are going to be in part of it. So there'll be more than 70 exhibitors in the parade this year, so it should be quite an event.
The parade lasts about 45 minutes. This year's Grand Marshal is longtime Denver developer and preservationist Dana Crawford.
The National Western Stock Show starts on Saturday and runs through January 28th.
And all you great outdoorsmen and women, you'll want to head over to the Colorado Convention Center in the next few days. The Denver International Sportsman's Expo kicks off today. More than 500 companies will fill the halls of the Colorado Convention Center. You can catch it today, tomorrow, and through the weekend. The times are on your screen. It's $16 for adults. Kids 15 and under get in for free. A 101-year-old veteran who credited Coors Light for his longevity is expected to visit the brewery in Golden today. Andrew Slavonic was honored for his military service by the Pittsburgh Penguins in December. We told you about him back then, and at the time he said his secret to a long life was drinking a Coors Light every day at 4 p.m. So Coors heard about that and helped pay for Andrew and his family to fly out to visit the brewery here.
What a cool dude.
Yeah.
This has been your Denver 7 on-demand update. Thanks for joining us.
And check back here later today for another update, and download the Denver 7 breaking news for apps and alerts. I'm Nicole Brady.
I'm Eric Hooper.